Whenever we're seeking God, a lot of questions come to mind, such as who is God and what is He like? Where do we come from and why do we exist? And if there is a God, why is there so much pain and evil and suffering in the world? And on a personal level, does God have a plan for my life? My first year in ministry, I was working with a group of Christ followers, and there was a young girl in the group named Chelsea. And she was the sweetest, kindest little girl. And we found out one evening that she had leukemia. And 2 days later, she passed away. And she asked me to speak at her funeral, something no little girl ought to ever have to do. And I remember going through one of her notebooks, and it was just God-saturated. It was filled with thoughts and poems and questions about God. And it drove me to ask some of these same questions again. And so I went back to the Bible, searching for answers to these questions. The Bible is a big book made up of a lot of smaller books. But overall, it tells just one story. A story of faith, hope, and love. And ultimately, a story of redemption. The Bible begins with a book called Genesis, which is a word which means beginning. And the opening words of the Bible are profound. It says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, 'Let there be light.' And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And He separated the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day." I love science. When I was 12, I got a telescope for my birthday. And I love looking at the stars and the moon and thinking about the universe. In college, I was a biology major, and I was even in medical school for a while until I decided to become a minister. And so I believe in science. And science has tremendously improved our lives and helped us make some amazing discoveries. And science has a lot of theories about the universe and the world. But do these theories really explain where things came from? Evolution is an attempt to provide one possible explanation for how human beings came to be. But evolution begins with the earth, water, and amino acids. But where do these things come from? The Big Bang Theory says that there was a superheated ball of mass that exploded, trying to provide an explanation for how the universe came to be expanding, which it certainly is. But the question I always had was, where did the superheated ball of mass come from? You see, these theories all assume creation. They don't tell us the ultimate origin of things. That is why for me, whenever I've doubted my faith, I've always come back to this. This world and this universe had to come from somewhere, and that points towards a creator. And that means for me, there is a God, and that has profound implications for my life. Perhaps that's why so many people do believe in God. Of course, the question today is, which God? Now, there are a lot of different faiths out there. Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, the New Age movement, and Christianity. How do we know which one's correct? Well, that's a good question. But for now, I just encourage us to look at the biblical account and see if it doesn't ring true and well describe our world as we know it. According to Genesis, God created the land and the seas, the plants and the trees, the sun and the moon, the creatures of the sea and the birds in the air, and the creatures that crawl along the ground. And there was a pattern in this creation. Every time God created something, it says that God saw that it was good. And so God created this universe, the world, and everything that is in it. And God created it to be good. So what do you think? What do you think of this biblical account? And what evidence do you see that points towards the creator of the universe?